Hello, thank you for tuning in. My name is Larry Duncan Allen. This is No More Water Fire Next Time. Probably knows my subject today it's about the Epstein files. See, I criticize those who voted to open the government back up. Well, many people now say, see, it was a good thing. Now they can open the Epstein files. I mean, I guess the Epstein files is more important than getting an amendment on people's health care. But the reason I say I still don't think it's a good idea because what if they go into the Epstein files, even find Trump is all up in it, and he's guilty of a lot of crimes? What can they do to him? How many times have they thought they had Donald Trump by the AZZ, and he walk away untouched? So I mean, what are they going to do if they do find out he's all up in it? More than likely, his Justice Department and the FBI has scrubbed those files, took a lot of it out about him, more than likely, as diabolical as this group is. But look, when you look into it, though, um, what happens? He gets impeached. He's been impeached, I think, twice before. But what if they do impeach him? Do he get thrown out of office? Because the Senate has to throw him out of office, or the vice president can declare in Article 25, which I doubt Vance is going to do. So what's going to happen to him? But we still didn't get an amendment on health care. Still people without health care. I know people saying that in that big ugly bill that health care became law, but not yet. They're trying to. They got to have it fixed where it don't become law till after the 2026 election, where before the people start hurting. I know some people are already getting letters, but it can be amended. Any bill can be amended. That's what the Democrats was going after, an amendment. Because if these files are released and Trump is all guilty, all up in it, he's been guilty and found guilty of a lot of things. He got 34 felonies. And I think he'll walk from the Epstein files just like he have everything else and still no health care. Because this Senate is not going to impeach him. Whether he may get impeached by Congress, but when it comes to him being taken out of office, it takes the Senate to do that. He's not going to get thrown out of office by this Senate. Only one president in history, was it Andrew Johnson? No. I know it was only one president in history that was actually impeached and thrown out of office. Because see, we don't have time to play around. You know why the Epstein file is more important than healthcare? This nation has an asphyxiation with sex and with sex crimes. Many times they see sex crimes as more worse than unalivings. Do you know that? They see sex crimes as more important than unaliving. They will, because look at what they do. Many people want, as soon as a person commits a sex crime, they want them to get the death penalty. They call for that quick. But I want to see a person who unalive someone get away with it. They boast about how someone in prison unalive someone who did something to a child or a sex crime, but don't want to see anything happen to the person who unalived somebody. They want to unalive somebody for something. When you have criminals taking care of criminals, you know that's going to be a mess. How can you say his crime is bad and his is okay? But this nation has a fixation with things that involve sex. I don't think if they find Donald Trump all up in the files, I doubt if anything even happened to him. I'm gonna play this video real quick.
You guys, things are getting crazy right now. Trump, the Republican Party, the whole administration, they are all freaking out right now about the release of these new emails from the Democrats in the House Oversight Committee. Emails from Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, which have Trump's name all over. FBI Director Kash Patel. They had Deputy AG Todd Blanche, who used to be Donald Trump's personal attorney. He was the one who had that whole interview with Ghislaine Maxwell. Well, they met in the Situation Room, apparently, according to Caroline Levitt, or a meeting in the Situation Room to discuss these files and how they could cover them up. And they pulled in Lauren Boebert, the congresswoman, in order to try to pressure her against voting for the discharge petition. She's one of the yes votes. When Trump woke up to this news this morning, he apparently was frantically calling Lauren Boebert and playing phone tag with Nancy Mace. He was desperately trying to reach them to tell them, you better not vote for that discharge petition. I mean, the guy is completely panicking right now. And then Trump just took to his Truth Social app again to call the Epstein child trafficking ring the, quote, Jeffrey Epstein hoax, and he's basically threatening Republicans. Do anything else but this. Please don't focus on this. Focus on anything but this. He then sent another post saying that Democrats are just trying to distract and deflect from the failure of the shutdown. I think you're trying to distract from the Epstein files. Have you ever heard of the Streisand effect, Donald? Well, maybe we should call it the Trump-Epstein effect. Speaker Mike Johnson also downplaying all of this, calling it another publicity stunt by the Democrats, saying that they're trying to mislead people. They are actively all engaged in this cover-up of the Epstein files. The panic right now is palpable, and the emails, I think, are revealing a bit more as to why they don't want the Epstein files released, because they're quite damning for Donald Trump. I mean, let's face it, if the Epstein files cleared Donald Trump's name and implicated Democrats, like they try to say, they would have released those yesterday. But they refuse, and they're actively threatening and pressuring other Republican politicians right now in order to try to get them not to vote for the release of the files. We're going to keep following the story, so make sure you follow our account. And remember to listen to the Midas Touch podcast. We're about to release a new interview with House Ranking Member Robert Garcia about the Epstein files.
Yeah. Now, why do you think those other senators don't want to have those files released? More likely, many of them are up in it. And he's trying to pressure people into, excuse me for a second, one of my lights went off. Got me dark on one side. Okay, I'm back. Look, more than likely, many of them may be up in it. Because it's really running deep. The people that's see when it comes to these wealthy people, they be involved in a lot of illicit sexual activity. They have those parties like Diddy. All of that stuff is nothing new. It's nothing new. If you notice, most wealthy men, they get involved in some type of thing where they was involved in sex parties like Bill Cosby, because they get to the place where they think they're almost invincible. They do a lot of things and get away with it, and so they feel invincible, and they feel that they can just do whatever they want to with women, like they're just powerful over them, and many other women give into it. It's not always just the men. A lot of times the women, they come after that sort of thing. Like this woman with Diddy, they talking about like she was such an innocent victim. What's her name? Cassie, whatever her name. She helped to to she would help to get the raid, those parties, what they call those parties, they had freak offs. She would help plan the freak off, collect the money. Now she's a victim. Even after she left Diddy, went to her, went back to her, got her a new man, gonna marry him, still sneaking back, having sex with Diddy. See, that's why I say People are so asphyxiated with sex in this nation. They see sex crimes as more important than unalivings. They do. And they see it's more important than unaliving crimes. That you don't see them be happy when them be calling for them to unalive someone in prison who unalived somebody. But if they commit a sex crime, you want to see somebody unalive them. If that's the case, let me cut this headphone now. I can hear it come feedback. If that's the case, why come you didn't want to see George Zimmerman unalive for killing a kid? Why did I say that K word? For unaliving a kid who he started a fight with. He's standing his ground. No, the kid was standing his ground. You didn't want to see him unalive. By the way, George Zimmerman was a Latino. Those people, who's supposed to be our allies. But he was treated like an honorary white when it came to the lady Latino against us. So, back to what I was talking about. I'm still for the health care because I don't trust that anything's going to happen to Trump, even if they find out he's all up in those files. And what he was saying on the video, he's talking about it's a hoax and all that. He ran his campaign on releasing the files. That's why the MAGA folks are angry. He ran his campaign on it. And I think the Democrats are going up because he's only seem to be the only kink in that MAGA armor. They don't care whatever else he does, but they want to see the Epstein files because they're fixated with sex. I mean, he can stage an insurrection. That's all right. Unaliving people down in the Caribbean. That's all right. Everything's okay. Got the army in cities. Got his Gestapo force dragging people off to other countries, never to be heard from again. That's okay. Oh, but we want to see those Epstein files. And if you see them, you're just going to make excuses for him. And he'll walk just like he walked on everything else. Because he controlled the judicial system. And the Supreme Court has already made it where you can't do anything to him no matter what. You can kick him out of the White House, but it takes the Senate to do that. He's been impeached before, but I don't see the Senate kicking him out. And you can't trust the Democrats and their votes. You can't trust them on anything. Some of them may vote to keep him in. It's hard to say. Even if they take over the Senate in the midterm, it's hard to say what the Democrats going to do. They seem to love throwing the party, some of them. So, handful of them seem to love throwing their party under the bus. So no telling what they'll do. So they may not vote to kick him out of office. So that's why I say I still think those 8 Democrats threw their party under the bus and threw this nation under the bus. Because I'm more concerned about health care than some Epstein files. Because when they open those files and Trump all up in it, I bet he walk on that. And nothing's going to happen to him. That's why I say, what happens after the Epstein files? Then what? Nothing. Nothing's going to happen to Trump. He's going to walk on it just like he walked on everything else. They already laid the groundwork. You can't touch him. The Supreme Court did that last year. He can't be charged criminally. He can, like I say, he can only be impeached. But impeachment don't mean being kicked out of office unless they vote to impeach for removal. And I doubt if that happened. Especially with this Senate we got and this uncontrollable Democratic Party. They can't keep their people in control like the Republicans do. It takes the vice president to declare Article 25 to get him out of office. Well, I can see Vance doing that, or he would have been one of the files released. So that's why I say I just don't have no faith in the system. That's why I think we still should have been fighting for health care. Because what's the point in releasing the files? He walks, and then the people still don't have health care when you could stay for that amendment. As a matter of fact, Trump was beginning to buckle on it. That's why he was talking about, well, we ought to get the people the money. He was beginning to buckle. And then these 8 cowards, spineless people, voted with the Republicans. The Democrats has no staying power. I know it's hard when you care about people and the other people don't care about anyone. I know it's hard. You want to see the people get their SNAP benefits. I know. You want the people to get paid, the federal workers. And it's very difficult when you care and the other people don't care. They don't care who starves. They don't care what happens. I know it's hard. When you see Republicans, you got Republicans lost their form and said they still with Trump. I know that's crazy, but I'm saying that to show how they stick to what they believe. The Democrats don't. Trump was buckling on health care. And as soon as he started buckling, those 8 senators, well, 8, whatever they was, they gave him, those 8 Democrats gave him a reprieve. And it's been happening all the time. The Democrats from Texas went to Illinois to stop the vote on gerrymandering. After 5 days, some of them caved and went back. And they had enough for the vote. So the ones who was holding out didn't have no choice but to go back because they had enough for the vote. The Democrats just can't trust each other to stay the course. And I just really don't think anything's going to happen to Trump with the Epstein files. He may be all up in, and if they haven't scrubbed him, I mean, Bondi and Cash Patel releasing the true files. You know they scrub those files. And if they, like I say, if they do find Trump all up in it, and he's found to have messed around with the girls and all that, he may be impeached. But he's not going to be removed from office. And he cannot be charged criminally for anything. Supreme Court, like I said, they took care of that last year. But we'll see what happens. I want to thank you for tuning in. I'm not going to hold you long tonight. I have something to do in a little bit. But thank you for tuning in. My name is Larry Duncan Allen. This is No More Water. Fire. Next time. Thanks for tuning in.